Let's start the third part of the episode. Please like this video and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thanks for your support. Let's start the amazing part. The hidden thread begins the story was far from over. In fact, what came next made everything before it feel like a mere prelude. Cole Mercer rose slowly from his seat, the tension in the courtroom already thick enough to suffocate. In his hand, he held a single sheet of paper, creased, aged, and ominously significant. He didn't speak immediately. Instead, he let the silence stretch, forcing every person in that room to lean into the moment. "There's another document we recovered," he finally said, his voice steady but heavy with implication. All eyes locked onto him. "It's handwritten. No signature, but we've verified it's in Kody's handwriting." He paused, lifting the page slightly higher. The title at the top reads, "Final Leverage." A ripple of unease moved through the courtroom. Cole continued, slower now, each word landing like a stone dropped into still water. "It references another woman. One who does not appear in any official records, media coverage, or prior court filings." Christine's breath caught. Janelle instinctively raised her hand to her mouth. Mary leaned forward, her expression tightening with dread. "But from what we've discovered," Cole hesitated, scanning their faces, "we believe she may have had a child with Kody. In secret." The reaction was immediate. "You're lying," Christine whispered, her voice trembling. Janelle gasped audibly. Mary shook her head, almost violently. "No, he wouldn't, he couldn't." Cole didn't flinch. "There's no birth certificate tied to his name. No formal acknowledgement. But there is a name." The judge leaned forward, eyebrow raised. "Whose name?" Cole inhaled once. "Lena Callister." The name fell into the room like a bomb. "A housekeeper," he continued. "She worked briefly with the family in Las Vegas. Only a few months. Then, she vanished. Around 2014. Christine's voice cracked. "He told us she left. Said she got married, moved to Wyoming." Cole nodded grimly. "That's the story he gave you. But records show Lena filed for a restraining order that same year." Silence. "It was dismissed due to lack of evidence," Cole added. "And after that, she disappeared completely." The judge leaned back, frowning deeply. "So where's she now?" Cole's answer was chilling. "We don't know. But recently, someone attempted to access her sealed file. The breach came from a secure IP, tied to one of Kody's shell financial operations." The courtroom shifted. The air itself seemed to tighten. This wasn't just deception anymore. This was something layered, calculated, buried. "We are no longer dealing with isolated lies," Cole said quietly. "We're uncovering a second life." The judge's tone hardened. "Until we locate Lena, this case remains open. There may be more victims, more secrets." Christine closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. How many lives did he touch, just to build his version of love? Mary's response was colder, sharper. It was never love. It was control. Legacy. His own twisted version of it. And then a sudden interruption. The courtroom doors opened, and a court officer hurried in, carrying a sealed package. No return address. No markings. The room went still again. The package was handed to the judge, who opened it carefully. Inside, only two things, a USB drive and a handwritten note. The judge read it aloud. "You want answers? Watch me." A chill swept through everyone present. The USB was immediately passed to the court's technical team. Within moments, it was connected, scanned, and projected onto the main screen. A video file. Christine stepped forward instinctively. "Play it. Now." The judge hesitated for only a second, then nodded. The screen flickered to life. A dim hotel room appeared. Plain. Forgettable. But the man sitting in the center of the frame was anything but Kody Brown. His appearance was different, more disheveled, more intense. His hair tied back, face rough with stubble. But his eyes were sharp, focused, almost unhinged. He stared directly into the camera. "By now," he began, his voice calm but edged with something darker, "you've made your choice." A pause. "That's okay." He leaned forward slightly. Just remember, I didn't leave because I was guilty. Another pause. I left because I saw what you were becoming. His tone hardened. Traitors. Backstabbers. Weak. Christine flinched. You were never part of the big picture, he continued. You were never meant to understand. You were tools. Janelle shook her head slowly, disbelief etched across her face. And now, Kody went on, after you've used each other, you'll realize something. He leaned closer to the camera. I built something you can't destroy. The room felt frozen. But go ahead, he said, almost smiling now. Try. A dangerous glint appeared in his eyes. I dare you. He sat back. And remember this, every secret you think you've uncovered, a pause. I left it there. On purpose. The implication hit like a shockwave. I'm not finished yet, he said softly. Then, with a chilling calm, and neither is she. The screen cut to black. No one spoke. Not because they were shocked. Because they understood something far worse. Kody wasn't running. He was orchestrating. And somewhere, someone else was still helping him. The silence that followed the video wasn't the kind born from shock. It was heavier than that. It was realization. The kind that settles slowly, like dust after an explosion, when everyone begins to understand that the damage is far greater than what's visible. The courtroom no longer felt like a place of law. It felt like a war room. Judge Harmon didn't return to her seat immediately. When she did, she wasn't wearing her robe. Instead, she had on a dark blazer, an earpiece clipped neatly along her collar. The shift wasn't symbolic, it was tactical. We have a breach, she said without preamble. Her voice cut clean through the room. A security alert has been issued by federal authorities. Someone inside this building has been leaking information. A murmur spread instantly. Christine's fingers tightened around the armrest. Janelle exhaled slowly, steadying herself. Mary didn't move at all. Cole Mercer stepped forward, holding a thin file marked confidential. We traced unauthorized communications to a burner phone used within the restricted wing of this courthouse, he explained. At the time of transmission, only 5 devices were active in that area. The judge nodded once. For belong to court personnel. Cole didn't speak immediately. The 5th, he continued, belongs to someone in this room. Every head turned. Every breath seemed to pause at once. The judge's voice was sharp. Bring her in. The side door opened. A young woman stepped inside. She looked no older than 20, maybe younger. Her posture was tense, shoulders slightly hunched, as if bracing against the weight of every eye in the room. She wore a loose hoodie, sleeves pulled down over her hands, and a baseball cap low over her face. She hesitated near the entrance. Christine leaned forward, squinting. Wait, she whispered. Janelle's eyes widened. No, that's not, it is, Cole interrupted quietly. The young woman lifted her head. This is Aurora Sullivan. The name hit like a second shockwave. Recognition spread unevenly, first confusion, then disbelief. Robin's niece, Mary said under her breath. Aurora stepped forward slowly, removing her cap. Her hands trembled, but her voice, when she finally spoke, did not. I was the one making the calls, she said. The room tensed instantly. But not the way you think, she added quickly. I wasn't sending information to Kody. A beat. I was sending information about him. Cole watched her closely. To who? The judge demanded. Aurora swallowed. The Department of Justice. Silence again, but this time it carried a different weight. Suspicion, shifting into something else. Hope. The last report I sent, Aurora continued, her voice beginning to shake now, was about Lena. The judge leaned forward. Explain. Aurora nodded, blinking back tears. I lived with Robin back in 2014, she said. I was just a teenager then. Lena worked in the house for a few months. Her gaze drifted, as if replaying something she'd tried to forget. I remember things that didn't make sense. Lena would cry a lot. In the laundry room mostly. And Kody, she stopped herself. Kody would talk to her when no one else was around, she finished. Christine's breath caught again. There was tension, Aurora said softly. Secrets. I didn't understand it then, but I felt it. She reached into her pocket. And before Lena disappeared, she left something behind. Aurora pulled out a small flash drive. The room leaned in. "I found it years later," she said. "Hidden inside an old Bible in the guest room. I was too scared to look at it back then." Her voice cracked. "But after everything started coming out, I couldn't ignore it anymore." She handed the drive to Cole. "It belongs to her." The device was immediately processed, scanned, verified, and projected onto the courtroom screen. One folder. Inside it, 2 files. A video. And a document. "Play the video," the judge ordered. The screen flickered. A woman appeared. Her face was pale, drawn with exhaustion. She sat on the edge of a small bed in what looked like a cheap motel room. The lighting was dim, uneven. Her hands trembled in her lap. But her eyes were steady. "If something happens to me," she began, her voice quiet but clear, "this is my testimony." The courtroom held its breath. "My baby is real," she said. "And Kody is the father." Christine's hand flew to her mouth. "He told me no one could ever know," Lena continued. "Said it would destroy everything. He gave me money to leave. Told me if I came back, I'd regret it." Her voice shook, just slightly. "I changed my name, moved states, tried to disappear." A pause. "But he always finds a way to remind me he's still there." The room felt colder. "And if you're watching this," she said, leaning closer to the camera, "then something went wrong." Her eyes glistened. "Please, protect my son." The video cut abruptly. No one spoke. No one could. The judge motioned. "The document." Cole opened the file. It was detailed. Meticulous. A timeline of events, dates, locations, financial transactions, medical receipts, travel logs, payments made in cash, notes referencing an alias used during hospital visits. Evidence. Layer upon layer of it. "She documented everything," Cole said quietly. Janelle shook her head in disbelief. "All this time, there's more," Aurora added softly. She stepped closer. There was a map included. Cole pulled up the final page. A digital scan appeared on screen, marked in red ink. A small town. A school circled. A name written beside it. "She's there," Aurora said. The judge's voice sharpened. "Where?" Aurora swallowed. "She's been living under the name Dana. Her son's name is Caleb." A pause. "In Colorado." The courtroom erupted into motion. The judge stood immediately. "Get agents there." Quietly. No alerts. Aurora stepped back, her part finished, but her expression still heavy with guilt. "I wanted to come forward sooner," she said. I was afraid." Mary moved toward her slowly. "You did come forward," she said gently. "That's what matters." But before the moment could settle, the doors opened again. A bailiff rushed in, holding a printed page. "Judge," he said urgently, "this just came through." "No sender ID." The judge took it, scanning quickly. Her expression darkened. "Read it," Cole said. She did. "Nice try," she read aloud. "But you're 2 steps behind. Dana already knows, and she's not who you think she is." A chill ran through the room. "You're playing the wrong game." Christine stood abruptly. "He knows." Cole's jaw tightened. "Or someone is informing him." Every glance in the room shifted again. Trust, already fragile, fracturing further. "This isn't just evasion anymore," Cole said. "This is counteroffensive strategy." The judge's voice cut through the tension once more. "Effective immediately, this case is under full federal review." She looked directly at Aurora. "You'll be placed in protective custody." Aurora nodded silently, tears finally falling. "I just wanted to stop," she whispered. Christine closed her eyes. "So do we." The ghost comes forward. By the time the courtroom emptied that evening, it was no longer operating as a place of testimony. It had become command central. Orders moved faster than words. Federal agents replaced clerks. Every hallway carried urgency. Every conversation was half-whispered, half-coded. What had started as a fractured family dispute had now escalated into something far more dangerous, a coordinated pursuit. And at the center of it all, a man who was always one step ahead. The operation in Colorado began before dawn. No sirens. No headlines. No official announcements. just quiet movement. Unmarked vehicles rolled into a small, nearly forgotten town tucked between long stretches of road and silence. The kind of place where no one asks questions and no one expects answers. River's Edge. According to Aurora's map, this was where Lena had been hiding. Agents spread out carefully, blending into the environment. A school sat at the edge of town, River's Edge Middle School. It matched the marking on the map exactly. Inside the courthouse, the live updates came in fragments. Target location confirmed. Subject believed to be using alias. Visuals pending. Christine stood near the monitor, her arms wrapped tightly around herself. Janelle paced. Mary sat still, unmoving, her gaze locked forward as if bracing for impact. Cole Mercer stood beside the agents, listening through an earpiece. Then, visual acquired. The room froze. She's there, the voice confirmed. Adult female. Matches description. A pause. And a child. Christine's breath caught. Proceeding with caution. In Colorado, the agents approached slowly. The trailer park sat just beyond the school grounds. Quiet. Isolated. A place where someone could disappear without being noticed. They saw her. Standing near the doorway. Holding a paintbrush. Watching a child draw on a small wooden table nearby. Lena. Alive. For a brief moment, everything seemed still. Normal. Then one of the agents stepped forward. "Ma'am," she looked up. And in that instant, everything changed. Her expression shifted. Not confusion. Not surprise. Recognition. Fear. She dropped the brush. Grabbed the boy. And ran. Back in the courtroom, what happened? Christine demanded. Cole's expression hardened. She bolted. The chase was immediate but chaotic. Lena moved fast, faster than expected. She cut through the back of the trailer park, pulling the child with her, disappearing into a narrow path that led straight into the woods. Agents followed, but hesitated. Orders were clear. No escalation. No risk to the child. By the time they reached the tree line, she was gone. Vanished. Again. All she left behind was a note. It was brought back to the courtroom within hours. The paper was crumpled, hastily written, but legible. The judge read it aloud. "I know what this is." A pause. "I know you're watching." The room was silent. "If you find me, tell Christine I'm sorry." Christine closed her eyes. "Tell Mary I forgive her." Mary's lips trembled. "Tell Janelle. I never blamed her." Janelle looked down. Then the final line, "But I will not let him take Caleb." The judge lowered the paper slowly. "She's not just hiding," she said quietly. "She's protecting." Cole stepped forward. There's only one way she could have reacted that fast. The implication hung in the air. Christine said it out loud. He warned her. Cole nodded. Or someone did it for him. And once again, every person in the room became a possible suspect. The judge stood. "This court is now sealed under federal authority," she declared. "All records, witness identities, and internal communications are classified effective immediately." Her voice sharpened. "We are no longer dealing with civil litigation." A beat. This is now a criminal case. Fraud, conspiracy, threats, and something far more difficult to define, manipulation at scale. But before the session could close, the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then the courtroom screen turned on by itself. Static. A distorted image formed. Kody's face. Smiling. Not frantic. Not desperate. Calm. Controlled. And beneath it, a single line of text appeared. "See you in session 10. The screen cut out. No one moved. Because everyone understood what that meant. He wasn't reacting. He was directing. Within hours, federal agencies escalated involvement. The case shifted again from criminal prosecution to national concern. Cybersecurity units were deployed inside the courthouse. Every terminal was scanned. Every connection audited. This wasn't a breach, one analyst reported. It was access. A difference that changed everything. Then came the next blow. Intercepted communications. Encrypted. Pulled from a dark web server. Cole stood before the screen as the files were decoded. "We've matched patterns," he said. IP routes, timestamps, behavioral signatures. He pointed to the alias. Patriarch 77. Christine whispered, "That's him." Cole nodded. Messages appeared on screen. Cold. Calculated. Precise. When they turn on each other, I walk away clean. Another line, if I'm indicted, release the files. Another, let them destroy themselves. Janelle stared at the screen. He planned this, she said quietly. Every step. More files opened. Videos. Private recordings. Arguments. Moments that were never meant to leave the walls of their homes. Some edited. Some raw. All weaponized. He built a contingency, Cole said. A narrative weapon. Christine's voice broke. He wanted to become the victim. Janelle shook her head. No, he wanted to become untouchable. The judge didn't hesitate. I want warrants issued for every known associate, she ordered. All financial networks flagged. Every asset frozen. Every alias tracked. She looked across the room. We are not prosecuting a man anymore. A pause. We are hunting a strategist. And then, just as the weight of that statement settled, the doors opened. Again. 2 men entered. Dark suits. Federal identification. One of them spoke immediately. Department of Justice. The room shifted. We are assuming co-jurisdiction, he said. The judge nodded once. What do you have? The agent didn't soften it. Evidence of communication between Kody Brown and international criminal networks. Christine froze. Janelle looked stunned. This goes beyond domestic fraud, the agent continued. We are now investigating potential racketeering. The word landed heavily. Cole exhaled slowly. He wasn't just running, he said. He was building something. And just like that, the case evolved again. Not just a manhunt. Not just a family collapse. But the exposure of something much larger. Something designed. Structured. And still unfolding. The Garden of Control, final part. By the next morning, the courthouse no longer resembled any institution of law. It had become a fortress. Federal agents lined every corridor. Communications were stripped down to paper. No live feeds. No unsecured signals. Even the air felt monitored. And yet, despite all the lockdowns, all the reinforcements, Kody was still inside the narrative. Still shaping it. The session resumed under emergency classification. Judge Harmon entered with a presence that silenced the room instantly. There was no hesitation in her voice now, only command. This case has officially been elevated to full federal prosecution, she declared. Charges include fraud, coercion, conspiracy, cyber intrusion, and ongoing psychological operations against multiple victims. A pause. And we are adding obstruction at a national level. Christine sat rigid. Janelle stared forward, expression hollow. Mary held onto the edge of the table like it was the only solid thing left in her world. Then the doors opened again. But this time, no one expected what walked in. A woman. Pale. Exhausted. Guarded by federal agents on both sides. And beside her, a young boy. Quiet. Watchful. Clinging to her hand. The room inhaled as one. Christine stood halfway, unable to fully rise. Lena, she whispered. It was her. Not a recording. Not a ghost. Real. Alive. And no longer running. Lena stepped forward slowly, her voice fragile but steady. I'll testify, she said. No theatrics. No hesitation. I want this to end. The boy stayed close to her side, Caleb. The child who had never existed on paper, yet now stood at the center of everything. The judge nodded. You understand the risks? Lena met her gaze. I've been living with them for years. Her testimony began simply. I was 22 when I met him, she said. He told me I was different. That I understood him in ways the others didn't. Christine closed her eyes. He made promises, Lena continued. Said I was part of the future. Said everything would change. Her voice trembled slightly. But I didn't realize. I wasn't part of a future. A pause. I was part of a plan. She described the secrecy. The late-night conversations. The isolation. The way Kody created a world where only his version of truth existed. When I got pregnant, she said, he didn't panic. That detail alone chilled the room. He calculated. Janelle looked down. He gave me money. Told me to disappear. Said if anyone found out, it would destroy everything he was building. And if you didn't? Cole asked. Lena's eyes hardened. He said I'd regret it. She explained the years that followed. New names. New towns. Always moving. Always watching over her shoulder. He would send things, she said quietly. Letters. Photos. Once, she stopped. The judge leaned forward. Go on. Lena swallowed. A lock of his own hair. With a note. The room was completely still. Don't forget who the father is. Christine turned away, unable to listen. Cole stepped closer. Did he use other identities? Lena nodded immediately. Yes. David Luntz. The name was written down instantly. But that's not the only one, she added. Another pause. When things got more serious, he used a different name. The room leaned in. Jacob Sampson. The reaction was immediate. Federal agents exchanged glances. That name had already surfaced. Now it was confirmed. He has a fallback system, Lena continued. Places. Accounts. Safe points. Locations, the judge pressed. Lena hesitated only a second. There's a lockbox, she said. Near a church in southern Utah. Cole was already signaling agents. It contains IDs. Cash. Burner phones. A pause. And one of those phones, Lena added softly, has his next plan. The courtroom shifted again. Because now, this wasn't just about what Kody had done. It was about what he was about to do. Is he dangerous? The judge asked. Lena didn't answer immediately. When she did, her words were precise. Yes. A pause. But not in the way you think. Everyone watched her. He doesn't destroy people directly, she said. He destroys how they're seen. The truth of that hit harder than any accusation. He told me once, Lena continued, if they take my reputation, I'll take their peace. Janelle whispered, that's what the videos are. Christine nodded faintly. He's rewriting us. Before the weight of that could settle, another interruption. A court officer rushed in. Judge, we found something. The room tensed instantly. In the lower level. An unsecured device. Cole took it immediately. A phone, the officer clarified. Running a hotspot. Connected. Active. Broadcasting. Cole's face went still. It's linked to internal feeds. The realization spread slowly, then all at once. Kody hadn't just been watching from afar. He had been watching from inside. A message appeared on the device. Live. Typed in real time. Congratulations. No one breathed. You've upgraded me. Christine's voice barely came out. What does that mean? The next line answered. Now let's see if you survive what comes next. The lights flickered again. Harder this time. Then the main screen turned on. A single image appeared. A chessboard. Every queen knocked over. Only the king standing. And then a distorted voice. Mechanical. Cold. Session 11 begins now. A pause. And I'm not the only one watching. That was the moment everything changed. Again. Within hours, the case expanded beyond national boundaries. Interpol flagged movement. A passport hit under the alias Jacob Sampson. Location. A border crossing in Central America. By the time agents arrived, he was gone. Again. But this time, there was something new. A pattern. Mary spoke it first. He's not improvising, she said quietly. Everyone looked at her. He's following something. Christine frowned. Following what? Mary's voice dropped. A plan he mentioned once. Years ago. The room leaned in. He called it. Plan Eden. Silence. Then what is it? Cole asked. Mary exhaled slowly. A place. Remote. Isolated. He said if everything collapsed, that's where he'd go. Where? The judge pressed. Mary met her eyes. Where the jungle meets the sea. The search began immediately. Financial records. Shell companies. Old transactions. And then, they found it. A property. Purchased in 2019. Under a different name. Funded through layers of hidden accounts. Location. A private island estate. Remote. Self-sustaining. accessible only by water. That's not a hideout, Cole said. It's a fortress. At the same time, another video dropped. Kody, standing by the ocean. Calm. Peaceful. They think I'm running, he said. A faint smile. I'm not. He looked directly into the camera. I'm building something better. Back in the courtroom, Christine turned away. He's trying to replace reality, she whispered. Janelle nodded. He's building belief. The judge issued the final order. Highest level fugitive status, she said. Apprehend on sight. A pause. Alive, if possible. But the final blow didn't come from Kody. It came from a letter. Delivered quietly. To Lena. 5 words. No signature. No trace. Just a message. Your son knows the truth. Lena broke down. Because whatever game Kody was playing, it wasn't over. Not even close. That night, agents moved toward the island. The ocean was rough. The sky dark. But they went anyway. At 3:17 a.m., a new video appeared online. No title. No warning. Just static. Then a villa. Distant. Silent. The camera fell. Footsteps. And a woman's voice. Cold. Controlled. They're here. A pause. Right on time. The feed cut. No signal. No confirmation. No Kody. And one final question remained. Was he the mastermind? Or just the beginning? The end? Or is it? Third part is over. Please subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. Next part are coming very soon.